doom scrolling. We all do it. We're probably doing it now more than ever, given the political circus that keeps unveiling new acts every day in America. But this video is not about politics. This video is about doom scrolling and one solution I have for it. Let's be honest, doom scrolling makes us feel helpless, overwhelmed, can even make us feel confused. We get all this information washing over us all day long, all night long. And to be frank, particularly consuming headlines and short form content, particularly on our phones, really fragments our attention. It creates what I call brain rot, where we're not able to really think about what we're doing. And it exerts a lot of influence over our moods and our emotions, probably more than we're aware of, and we may not really be aware of that until we stop doom scrolling. The solutions aren't easy. A lot of people say stop using your phone. Look, not going to happen. If you're anything like me, I use my phone for banking. I use it to call my mom. I communicate with my friends. I use it for transportation. I pay for train tickets. I can rent an e-bike. I can do everything. I have to do everything with my phone. It's just the way it is. And a lot of that is great stuff. A lot of that is super convenient. A lot of it is so time saving. And I'm really, really happy for that. But what I'm not happy about is the doom scrolling, the constant news feeds on here. So I have one solution, which is pretty simple. Read a damn book. Read a damn book. Words printed on paper, on pages, in chapters, bound together. A book. This is a book. Read a damn book. Okay? So being a little pedantic here, but read a book, hopefully something printed on paper, not on an internet connected device. And I'm going to give you 4 reasons why you really should be reading a book instead of doom scrolling. So the first reason is that reading provides a deeper kind of focus and mental clarity than you can achieve with almost anything else. Unlike doom scrolling, reading engages your full attention. Your mind is fully immersed in the story, and it's not fragmented. It's not broken apart into 15-second, 30-second, this, that, and the other. Your mind is just doing one thing. It's processing language, and it's thinking about what it's processing. Books provide a long-form, nuanced discussion instead of just reactionary, shallow sound bites meant to grab your attention. Reading also really forces you to slow down, and like I said before, you process information meaningfully. It doesn't have to be apparent. It doesn't always have to be conscious. It doesn't have to be a discussion. It doesn't have to be literally thinking about, why did the character do that? Even if you don't do that on the surface of your mind, below in the subconscious of your mind, you are processing that story, or you are processing the information that you read. And that's really good for your brain. Fiction and nonfiction alike also can offer clarity on complex issues without sensationalism. So much of our social media news is sensationalized. We have a US president who basically won an election by a very small margin, purely based on sensationalism. So, fiction can also help us cope with uncertainty. Stories kind of provide a safer emotional distance from a tough topic or a taboo topic or something that's uncomfortable. For example, if you read a war novel, it's a safer way to experience what soldiers experienced, or what people who live through wars and die in wars, what that's like. It also gives you a kind of control that you wouldn't have through other mediums. Now, yes, you can turn off a movie or a TV show, but with a book, you're able to control the pacing. You pick it up and put it down as you want to and as you're able to. And you're able to read quickly, you're able to read slowly, and focus on the things that you think are attention grabbing, not what someone thinks your attention should be grabbed by. Reading about dystopian and chaotic worlds, so this could be science fiction, it could be horror, it could be thrillers. It also helps kind of put our own struggles into perspective, and that can also apply to historical fiction too. We can read about different periods of time, and that helps us kind of understand our own current contemporary world. Also, reading fiction helps you kind of build a kind of resilience and an emotional intelligence that helps you navigate the real world. Sometimes as kids, we read things and they help us kind of process the world, and we carry that into adulthood. I can give a kind of a personal anecdote. As a teacher, I teach kids, I teach grades 4, 5, and 6. And I do see that the kids who read and read fiction develop better social skills and develop more resilience and emotional intelligence than the kids that don't. The kids that always have problems, the kids that have problems managing their own emotions, the kids that have problems building relationships and friendships with other kids and with other teachers and with adults, those are the kids that typically don't read. Another reason why reading really encourages critical thinking and not reactivity. So doom scrolling rewards instant emotional reactions. Doom scrolling, these news algorithms, they're built on fear and outrage. I don't think they purposely give you those stories. To a certain extent, they probably do now. But what I'm trying to say is that the algorithms, they will push stories that get lots of clicks, likes, and shares. And unfortunately, those things that people click on, that people like, and that they share, and that they comment on, are the things that they're usually outraged by, or the things that they're scared of. And unfortunately, that becomes what's fed to everyone else. Even if you're passive about it, even if you never click like, even if you never share a link, even if you never comment, the algorithm is going to be pushing those types of stories because that's what it's designed to do. Books allow us to engage with different perspectives in a more meaningful way. We can't click like and subscribe to The Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison, but we can buy it, we can read it, we can think about it, we can discuss it. You don't have to buy it. You could get it from your library. Well-researched nonfiction, so shifting over to nonfiction, it offers you more in-depth discussion and analysis without being driven by clickbait. And it allows you to really think about what the information that's being presented to you is. Is it still current? Is it still relevant? Is it real? Or is it misinformation? Or is it outdated? Reading also helps you connect the dots over time rather than just reacting to isolated bits and pieces that just kind of get fired at you. And the last thing too is that critical thinking. If we're not able to read, we're not able to think critically. It's just a fact. Another great reason here is that books foster a much healthier relationship with information, and that kind of links to what I was just talking about. Doom scrolling is really a passive consumption, whereas reading encourages a more active type of learning. We probably are more likely to pull a book off a shelf and read it because we want to, because there's something in here that we wanted to know more about. Whereas when we're doom scrolling, it's just this feed. It's literally just a scroll of things that's just shot at us. So choosing books over social media means you kind of curate or you design your own kind of intellectual diet rather than being fed what algorithms push to you. And also the big difference here is that long form content, it doesn't have to be a colossal 600-page book, but an extended discussion or an extended piece of writing allows you to engage a lot more deeply with a topic rather than just skimming through the headlines. And books and reading also allows you for a lot more reflection and critical thinking. So you could pick something up and you could initially think like, I'm going to like this, I want to know more about this. And then as you read it, you kind of get through it and you're like, well, I agreed with this part, but this part I didn't really think was well done. I wanted to know more about what was happening here. Why did the writer choose to do this over here? And so you get a more holistic or a more developed opinion of something rather than just like, oh, I saw that and that was terrible. And also another thing that's really important is that reading helps you reclaim your attention span, and it reverses the effects of kind of digital overstimulation. Doomscrolling traps us in a cycle of fear, anxiety, and reactionary thinking. But reading is the way out. Books give us a kind of focus and depth that you can't find anywhere else, especially in a world full of 30-second hot takes. Instead of endlessly refreshing bad news, pick up a book that challenges you. Pick up a book that could transport you to another place, another time. Or pick up a book that could teach you something new, or even all of the above. Reclaim your attention. Reclaim your mind. Because in a world designed to keep you distracted, reading is the ultimate act of resistance.